Hello everybody, AVM Superhero here. How you guys doing tonight? I know I usually do interviews with different stroke survivors for connecting the dots or Death Taught Us How to Live or Life After AVM. I want to switch it up tonight. After this holiday season, a lot of us, are getting depressed again because we have to go back to our stroke recovery and doing our rehab, and we're not finding the motivation, or we might not be seeing any progress in what we're doing with our rehab, especially in that first year. So what I want to do tonight is something a little bit different. I want to not just have individual stories or one person's story. I want you guys as stroke survivors to share your stories with everybody else. This is a very, very important thing for each and every one of us. I know people that have been a stroke survivor for multiple years. You guys can remember, or if you can't remember, you probably have journals like I do. I'm going to read some of my entries in my journal of my early days. And it was very difficult for me. I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do or how I was supposed to be a man, and I couldn't figure out how I was supposed to move on my life. And all of this was compounded on top of each other with me not being able to work, me being separated from my then wife, and I didn't have anywhere to go to. I was very depressed. I was in a very dark place. But, soon as I started finding other people, hey, Trazana, how you doing? Once I found other people that was going through the same thing that I went through or very similar, things became enlightened. I felt, for lack of a better term, saved. I felt life was worth living. So let me just go through my little story, and hopefully some of you guys as stroke survivors will piggyback in and talk about your experience and help out other people that is just, and I don't want to call anybody a newbie, but in this stroke community is new to this stroke life, and they might be hitting the wall. They might look good, it might sound good, but when they get back to their recesses of their mind, or when they go to bed at night or wake up in the morning, they find it very difficult to get there to whatever they need to be. So hopefully you guys can remember the stuff that you've been through, so we can help out other people so they don't go through the same pitfalls that we went through. So for me, it was very difficult for me. Starting out, I knew I had a stroke. I knew I had aneurysm, but I had an AVM rupture. And it was weird because when this happened to me, I was on the highway. I was driving about 300 miles away from my house, and I was completely all by myself in a remote part of Kentucky. And I don't know how to live. I didn't know how to live, but I certainly knew how to die. I knew exactly what it meant to die and what the actual felt like. It felt like I was jumping off a roof of a tall skyscraper building, and I had no parachute, and I knew death was there. But what happened to me, and people that haven't had a stroke or near-death experience, I want you to be real careful and choose your words wisely, because with me, it was two things that was going through my head. One, I was kind of upset, not with God, but upset that I didn't even find true love within this life. And I was like, oh man, I'm about to die without being truly in love or someone truly loving me. And two, I asked God to save my life from my daughters. But that was a crazy thing about it. I didn't have any particular parameters of how my life was going to be. I didn't say I want to be rich and successful and have all the splendors of this world, and I also want to teach my daughters. The only thing I said I want to teach my daughters. And I got that result, and everything moved on from there. So the first thing I want you guys to understand and remember as stroke survivors, that you have overcame a huge obstacle. You have overcame death. You should give yourself a pat on the back on that. I'm not saying that we are more special than other people that didn't survive, but you past death. So don't be that hard on yourself and saying, well, I can't do this, I can't do that anymore. You are alive, and you have the power or the will to move forward. So now you have to find those other steps to move to the next step, into the next step, into the next step. So with me, I had that power. I moved forward, and then all of a sudden, I was depressed. I was upset. What was I upset about? Well, I can't work anymore. I don't have the access of dance anymore, playing basketball anymore. I can't move my body anymore. And this is the wildest thing that your mind does to you, that you have these obstacles or these things that you want to become and overcome. And I could read to you some of the journal entries I have. I would say to myself, if I can walk again, life will be better. But as soon as I started walking again, something else came up. Then once I did something that I thought I couldn't do anymore and I was able to do that, something else came up. So life always gives you another thing to say, hey, you need to do this or that, another to be okay. I had to come to that realization that it wasn't about me accomplishing those minor goals that I had to make myself feel okay. I had to be okay in my mind. And I know that I'm still growing, and each and every day that I learn something new or get something that I had before back, I am fine. That is good. It's not that it's going to be a thought that, no, I can't dance anymore. I can't roller skate no more. So I'm not that type of person, and nobody wants to be around me anymore. No, that's not true. Your life has to just adjust. And if you can adjust your mind, then your life can adjust to whatever your mind is actually putting forward. So I want to read an entry that I had, and at my dark places, and what helped me to move forward. It's pretty interesting. It's this gentleman that I'm going to read about right now. His name is Jonathan Collins. He's not a stroke survivor, but he's a pretty interesting guy. I used to play basketball with him before I had my stroke. But he came to my house and he told me that, hey, Greg, get your ass up and walk. I'm like, what the hell, man? I had a stroke. What the hell are you talking about? He said, Greg, I have this rare disease that most people can't come back from. They can't even start walking anymore. And you see me playing basketball with you. So I just got in my head that I'm going to do this. I'm going to walk. I'm going to do this. I'm going to play basketball. I'm going to do this. I'm going to become this. I'm going to become that. Absolutely. I said, okay, cool. So let me read this passage to you. And let me tell you where this man is at today. And this is how I got motivated and started moving forward and started doing the things that I wanted to do. So I had my stroke on November 27, 2017. And this is my journal entry after I came after my hospital visit and before I had my craniotomy, July 15th, 2018. Jonathan came by this weekend and told me his story to recovery, the same story I just told you. He has given me a big motivation to get whole again. Also, my cousin Nicholas came by this weekend. We had a drink of cranberry juice for his birthday. He said every year we have a drink, but this year is my birthday, and I know you can't drink, so we're going to drink cranberry juice, and we had a toast. So first of all, I love my cousin Nicholas. Shout out to Nicholas, right? Love you, brother. But the thing that I wanted to actually bring out to this particular point is my friend Jonathan. If you ever look up, he has a brand called Black is Love, or Love is Black. Black is Love, I think it is. And he has transformed it from just a t-shirt brand and made himself into a brand that's in Atlanta. He has a storefront inside of Atlanta store, inside of Stonecrest Mall. He's been doing big things, doing commercial things of that nature, but he's all done that from the process of his mind. He can walk now. He could do things now. He is liberated from a place that he couldn't move at all. He was paralyzed, and he just started inside of his mind. If I could just move this water bottle with my hand, do curls with it, I'll be able to get up and play basketball again. So now he's a business owner, and he's very successful at it. So that's what I'm just trying to bring out to you, that if we do things within our minds and we have great people around us to move us forward to the next destination in life, There's no endless possibilities. And I see there's going to be people that's coming on. So let me see who wants to come on and share some stories of their first year to see how they actually move forward. I have Lita here. Let's see if she could come on and tell us what she actually did with her first. So let me see if I can get her on and let's talk to her about it. Hey sis, how you doing?
Hey. Okay,
How you doing today?
let me just turn on some light. So,
I haven't seen you in a long time. How you been?
uh, just still working on my house. So yeah, it's been 6 years.
Yeah.
Um, in December, because I had 4 strokes in December, all in 9 days.
Okay.
So, with the fourth stroke, I lost everything, my speech and my right side. So, I did in total 7 months rehab, and I actually had to go. Oh, sorry. I did 4 months, and then I tried to go back to teaching because I was a teacher. I was a teacher for 9 years, and I tried to
Mm-hmm.
go back to teaching 8 months after I had my stroke.
No bueno.
Uh,
No bueno.
I made it 11 weeks before I literally cried in front of my eighth graders. And I knew something was wrong because, like I taught for 9 years. I didn't have any control over my emotions, like something, and then I couldn't remember names. And so that's when I was like, okay, yeah, we can't be a teacher no more. It's the time is past. And so that's I'm still dealing with impaired memory, but just really like remembering everything. Like it's like my mind, my brain has its own brain. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
right. It's kind of like when you um it's anything that can remind you of something, and then like my brain just wants to focus on that, like just get tunnel vision trying to really remember what happened. And that hasn't happened recently because I've been socially distancing for the past 22
But hold on,
months
hold on, hold on. You're being a little bit coy with me because you and I have spoken in depth and a lot of things, a lot of things are in common that you have with me. When you had your stroke, you was married and then,
Yeah.
you're not married anymore. The same thing as me. You don't have your career no more. But I want to know when this actually happened to you 6 years ago, when you actually had your final stroke. Um, what brought you out of that dark place? What did you need that you want to tell people that just had a stroke within the last 6 months, the last 10 months, that they need to actually find within themselves to move forward to be that person that you are today?
To be honest with that, I'm just now at that place. When you're talking about like a year, like I was really trying to be somebody that I was not anymore. So it was
Yes.
just me trying to be the normal person I was, but that normal doesn't exist anymore. I have 5 lesions of permanent brain damage, you know. So it's like a year after, my ex-husband was my translator for like 2 months and all of that stuff. I was back to driving and really just trying to get back to what my life was prior to my stroke. But now, like, tried that, and clearly that was back during, like, when you're talking about a year. That's what I was trying to go back. I was trying to go back to teaching. I was trying to really get back to what I used to do, but that's not the way that my brain functions no more.
So
So
what keeps you happy today? What gets you leader up every morning and say, you know what? Today's the day I'm going to do this, that, and another. What do you do now to keep yourself from going in that bad, dark place?
it's hard. I can really, to be honest, I can actually really go kind of dark as into what I'm dealing with right now. I actually call this my holiday gloom time. I lost both of my parents. My mom's birthday was on Christmas. She died 2 days after her birthday. My dad's birthday was on the 10th of
My
this
condolences.
month. We found out that he had pancreatic cancer on Valentine's Day of 2018. So I'm actually fighting with everything else, not even with my stroke, but just with personal, like with my parents' death and all of that stuff. So not only am I dealing with just the uh the challenges of a stroke, I'm also dealing with personal stuff. So I don't know, it's like I just been trying to remain positive. um it's you just really have to, all I can say is, like, because I'm like alone, and like, I, of course, I don't have any visitors. It just really makes you get to know yourself.
Mm.
There's gonna be hard days, like right now, my ankles and start swelling because I've been like up and working on my house and stuff. So it's and I do all of this because this is occupational rehab, because these two fingers are still numb. I still have, I don't know if you can see, but I have a shoulder protector underneath my sweater. So this is my daily rehab. So when I'm saying that I'm redoing my house, I am doing that, but yeah, but it is rehab for me.
So I thank you for joining, Shalita, and I really want to really point out two things that hit my head, and hopefully it's hitting other people's heads too. And you want to come back on later on, you can, but I'm gonna try to get some other people on. I'm gonna talk about this a little bit, okay, sis? I
Mm-hmm.
really appreciate you.
All right.
Talk with you. So two things that I got from Shalita was, one was talking about her family issues and what actually happened with the death of her mother and the death of her father, and trying to deal with that stuff, as well as being a stroke survivor. That, life still goes on. We have to deal with that. And then the second thing I got from you was that you still have these ailments that you have, and you still have these depressions, and your legs hurt and your fingers hurt, and you have to do these occupational therapy to move forward. And if you're not doing that, you're going to fall off, and you're not going to be able to be the person that you want to be. And you had to get rid of that thought that, hey, I'm gonna go back and be a teacher. No, my life is different now. I got to be somebody else. And if I don't do that, my life will be completely boo. And I get that. I like that you actually brought that out to our attention, and I really appreciate that. So, people, I want you guys to understand that this is not just about you getting past your physical ailments. Life still goes on, and you still have life issues, and you have to deal with those life issues. And once you start understanding that these life issues will not go away, your rehab will be much, much better. Like Shalita just was telling us, she had all these things happening to her, but what she found out for herself is that she needed to do things to make her happy. I don't know if you follow her or not, but I follow her. She likes to do modeling stuff, so she models. She likes to do rehab. She calls it occupational rehab. She does it herself. So she fixes up her own house to make sure that her brain doesn't go completely kaput. She knows that this is not the best idea for her, but she knows that this is the best way for her to get back as she knows it right now. And for me, I had that same issue, guys. I had that same issue. I had people trying to tell me, hey, Greg, this is what you need to do. Greg, you need to do this. You need to be here. You need to be there. And I'm like, I don't want to do any of that stuff. I want to do the things that I like. Like, this is the reason why I'm doing these interviews right now. Before my stroke, My thought process was I wanted to quit my job and I wanted to help out battered women. I wanted to help out Black women so they could get back to wherever they wanted to be in life. I wanted to do that so bad. I know I had the voice. I used to teach. I taught politicians, lawyers, medical professionals. I helped Coca-Cola get into this thing called Coke One Nation, One World, for all their Coke and bottling systems to be on one system. I helped do that. I helped build that up. But all that didn't mean anything to me. I wanted to help out people. Matter of fact, my brain was so in tune with that I wanted to be a person that when you drive down a bridge, you see a name of a person that actually that bridge is dedicated to or the highway is dedicated. I wanted my name to be on that. It could have been a little bit vain, but I just wanted to give back to society. Then I found out that most of the time those people names that's on the highways or bridges are military people and they died in some type of war. So I was like, oh man, I can't do that. So with that being said, when I got this second chance in life, I knew that I couldn't run upstairs anymore. As you can see, my shirt is not buttoned. I can't button my shirt because I really can't do these motor skills anymore. I didn't care about that no more. What I care about right now is what I'm doing right now. This is my gift. This is my gift. I know I can bring people together. I know that I could talk to people. I know that people want to talk with me. So I know there is a need for people out there to get this actual information. So this is what I do. This is what you need to do. You need to come up with some kind of idea that you are great at. I'm talking about great at. You don't have to be the best at it. Trust me, I'm not the best at this, what I'm doing right now. I butcher the American language or the English language all the time. But I know that I have a special type of gift, some type of power that actually gives back to other people. So if anybody else that wants to share about what they actually have done so we can get this rolling in the right direction, thank you, Shalita, for bringing us the information about your life and how it's been very difficult for you. You lost your husband, you lost your way, you lost your parents, but you're still moving on. What else you guys got out there? What kind of gift did you guys have that you want to give back to our community so we can actually build forward? Anybody could hit me up right now and try to come in if you want to. I don't mind. Anybody, we got somebody. Somebody's coming in. I guess share your stroke of genius. Want to come on and share what they have. They declined it. Stroke of genius, come back, please. Hey, Tiffany, how you doing? New to the community? Nice to meet you. You want to come on and share your information? Please, by all means, Tiffany, go ahead. Share your stroke of genius. I got you. Hey, what's going on, Bull? What's up, brother?
What up? Great.
How you doing, man?
Happy New Year.
Oh, Happy New Year to you too, man. It must be freezing up there. You're in New York?
Yeah. So I'm already preparing. So actually in my office it's a sauna. It's
Really?
the heater's going. I'm only wearing this hat because my hair's a little messed up. So
Hey. That's the girl. That's the old girl secret. Whenever they go outside, they have their hair done. They put on a little bonnet and go outside. So
yeah.
don't be embarrassed. So hey, I know your story's kind of unique because you had your stroke when you was a teenager, correct?
No,
And
11, yeah.
how old were you?
11.
You was 11 before, not even a teenager yet. So you had all your life to go through this. As growing up as a child,
What?
how can you help out these people that's out here as teenagers or people that's in elementary school, high school that had a stroke? What was the thing that got you over the hurdle to get you to where you are today?
It's conversations. I kept looking for the next best thing. And even though I didn't find the best thing, I always found something. And, when I found out that getting my old self back was not the answer, so basically, I was the vegetable. Okay. I just got back from All-Star Baseball, pitching a no-hitter. I was practicing with the high school basketball team. I know at 11, but
You was good.
yeah. And
Okay.
But I really wanted to play basketball again, like you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, and there's that desire to be great again.
Yes.
Better
Yes.
you are. You have that gut feeling of like, I lost a piece of me or a whole me.
Yes.
And how do I get that back?
Yes.
And my dad in the hospital, you know, the doctor said, like, you're not going to play basketball again. And I burst down crying. I couldn't express myself any other way, you know, because I couldn't talk. And
Right.
and my dad, he says, no, Kyle, we're gonna get back to playing basketball again. And the doctor said, okay, well then you can't play for at least 2 years. And so when I got back into college, back into middle school, I would play. Well, I would go out on lunch recess and just watch everyone play. And then all of a sudden, I just said, "Fuck it," and went out there on the with a arm brace and a leg brace, and I got into a 2-on-2 game and then a 3-on-3 game, and I would juke people out with one arm, and
Right.
people would say like, "Oh, you're doing the Kyle style," and that was, you know, my signature. Like, you have to come up with your own style, you know,
I'm feeling that, Kyle. I'm feeling that.
because you're not going to get back what you had. It's gone. When I went into high school, I made the high school basketball team, and I worked so hard, and I could play, you know, and I would only play like 2 minutes at a time, but I would score like, you know, 3 buckets, and then the freshman or JV coach would pull me, and I'm like, what? And so I went to the varsity coach who knew me before and practices with the team, and I said, Coach, this wasn't, you know, I don't feel like I belong, you know, like I worked so hard to get back my basketball skills, like, but it's just, I don't see a future in that. And he says, Kyle, the old Kyle is dead, gone. The new Kyle is for you to go out on an adventure to discover who you are and what you're meant to be.
Hold on, Kyle. Kyle, you said something deep to me right here, and it resonated with me too, because I'm definitely feeling what you're saying. You said your coach told you the old Kyle is dead.
Mm-hmm.
How did that make you feel when you said, okay, that old person is dead, I need to be this new person? What did you do? How did you move from that? How did you receive that as a little child?
I felt the most free out of any other moment because I began to feel like so much weight was off my shoulders, and I began to see a whole new path develop, and me going to college, me going and being independent, me going to film school, me going and getting into the film industry, living in New York. I mean, like, the possibilities were endless. And
So
I have a weak right side, you know, I didn't, you know, I still have a weak right side, but I
see your jump shot. You still got a nice jump shot. I seen it the other day, that little video you put together. I seen that. It's pretty nice.
Well, I'm coming out with a documentary with Ty and Corey Wiseman
Yes,
month,
yes.
and so we, you know, it's just like you cultivate who you're friends with. You build new relationships. You know, I've been married, you know, and she loved me for me. I mean, we didn't talk about strokes, you know?
Kyle, I'm loving you, bro. You're giving me a lot of information. Hold on, baby. We're
Okay.
stroke survivors. You're giving me too much, too fast. Slow down, slow down. But there's something that you're bringing to me now, and I'm loving it. You said you have to find friends that they accept you, that could really be part of it, to be positive people around you, not negative. So all that negative stuff you really have to get rid of. You found a woman that accepted you as Kyle, not Kyle as whoever society would think Kyle's supposed to be. Is this Kyle is who he is right now, and she loved you for that.
The Kyle style. So
you're a best. You're best. Oh, Kyle, I thank you for coming on so much, man. We got so many people that want to get on. I really appreciate you, brother. As you already know, me and you are going to talk. We're going to have an interview. You're going to be on Deaf Taught Us How to Live one of these days. Okay, sir?
Hey, every single person, you have your own reality.
Yeah.
And the best piece of advice is to just go out there, go on an adventure, and discover who you are and what you're meant to be.
Well put, brother. Well put. Well put. Thank you so much for coming on, man. I'll talk to you later, bro.
Thanks.
Hey, don't kiss me, man. Don't kiss me, but kiss everybody else. Bye, bro. But that is so serious. Like what Kyle is saying, what Shalita was saying is basically, finding your you, and Kyle reiterated it with putting new people in your life that actually support you. Like I was at a place that I didn't have those people around me until I had my friend Jonathan that came by, and he said, "Greg, get your ass up." I'm like, dude, I can't walk, man. I just had a stroke. He said, "I don't care what you had. Get up. You can do it." And he looked at me dead in my eye. He was dead serious. But I knew that it was love. It wasn't out of a place of malice. He didn't think that I was playing around, but he just knew that I can do, because he knew what type of guy I was. And he motivated me to get to where I am today. That's who you need to surround yourself with, those type of people. Because if you do not surround yourself with those type of people, you know what's going to happen to you? You are what you think. Great example. Great example. I need you guys to really, really think about this. Really think about this. If you want to join, what's it, Shadana? I'll get you on in a second. But this is what I really want you to think about. Just close your eyes and just imagine the worst scenario that you had in your life. Think about it right now. Now, as you're thinking about that, how does your body feel? Is your body reacting to it? And if your body's reacting to it, and nothing is happening, it's just your memory's actually doing it, you got to stop thinking that way. But just imagine if your mind thinks about all the positive things that your body can do, how you think your body's going to react? Open your eyes now. Let's see how you think about that. So I'm going to bring in, I am Shadana. I hope I'm saying your name right. And hopefully she could bring up some interesting information that we have. But I also want you to understand this too, before she brings up, hey, how you doing, sister? Before
Hey, how you doing?
How you doing? I want you to bring up another thing. Remember how Kyle was talking about all this stuff that he was a child? You got to remember, this is not just for adults. Children go through this as well too. And imagine if you are a teenager and you have to deal with all this stuff of being a stroke survivor. You have to find your community. You got to find people out there. Now, listen to you. Shadana, am I saying your name right?
Yes, you got it right. You got it right.
What
I
do I
always
get?
tell
What do I
people,
get?
Shadana, my story, my story. That's what you really get. Shadana like Madonna. Okay,
All right, sister,
so
how you
I
doing?
had the stroke back, and somebody in church told me don't call it mass stroke because I should never claim that. Um, I had a stroke September the 20th, 2015. It was
Okay.
all due to operation I had. I had tiny cysts on 2/3 of my left lung. So I had to get that surgically removed, or either I would keep getting sick because it was like blocking like blood flow to my left lung. So I went in September 18th. I got the surgery done. And after I got the surgery done, I wanted to get up and move around, but I was told I wasn't supposed to after having a surgery like that.
Slow down,
So,
because you're going fast. You're going fast.
all right,
I'm gonna rock with you. I'm gonna rock with you.
okay.
But let's go back into that mindset when you actually wanted to move around. Did you really feel like you had a stroke, or was that just somebody that everybody else was saying? You just felt like you could do whatever you could do. Am I right?
I always felt like I could do whatever I wanted to do.
Right. Go ahead now.
So I didn't have the stroke right away. So I had
Mm-hmm.
the surgery on the 18th. I wanted to get up Saturday and move around. Mind you, I was
Mm-hmm.
23 when I had the stroke.
Mm-hmm.
So I declined heparin shots because I didn't know what they were at the
Mm-hmm.
age of 23. I was like, I have tubes in the left side of my stomach, so I don't want y'all sticking me with needles in the right side of my stomach. So I declined them. I told the nurse my compression cuffs was broke, and he asked me, was I a nurse? Mind you, I worked in the medical field before. He asked me, was I was a nurse, like he was being sarcastic. And I
Mm-hmm.
just was like, no, it don't take a rocket scientist to figure out if the compression cuffs aren't moving, that they broke. So come Sunday, the surgeon cleared me to walk. Saturday, I just basically sat around with nothing to fight the blood clots because I declined heparin shots. I didn't have the compression cuffs. So I wasn't moving around. It was nothing to prevent the blood clots. I got up
All right, hold on,
Sunday.
slow
Okay.
down, because you're saying things that some people might not understand what you're saying. So the compression cuffs, what are they for?
The compression cuffs are to prevent blood clots.
So you put them on your ankles or your thighs
No,
or
they
something?
have them on your calves, your calf muscles.
Yeah.
They was on both of my calf muscles, but neither of them were moving.
It just massages it so it can move the
Yeah,
blood
just keep
around.
on doing like this, just
Mm-hmm.
squeezing your legs.
Mm-hmm.
So they were broke. They weren't working, so I didn't have anything to fight the blood clots. So I just laid around basically, developing a blood clot that I didn't know was even occurring at the time. I got up the next day and I was cleared to walk down the hallway. That was it, just to walk down the hall.
Mm-hmm.
And I walked down the hall with a nurse holding on to, the thing that holds your IV fluids and that stuff. So I was holding on to that. And I just fell over. I didn't know what was going on. I could still hear everything around me, but I blacked out.
So this is the
At
time
that
you actually
time,
had the stroke.
yeah, this is me having a stroke. So in the midst of me walking, what I was told after I had the stroke was the blood clot had developed in my leg. Evidently, I stumped down too hard when I was walking. I lodged it. The clot went, I want to say it traveled through my lung where I had the surgery at, through my heart, which I never knew I had a hole in my heart. So after that happened, they had to airlift me from St. Francis Medical to St. Francis to go in my growing
Stop.
area.
Where are we at when you talk about these different
Richmond,
locations?
I'm in Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
I'm in Virginia. So they had to airlift me from where I originally got the surgery done, the procedure done,
Mm-hmm.
to to St. Mary's. My mistake. To St. Mary's because they specialize in like blood clots and things of that nature. So they went in my groin area with forceps up to my brain to pull out the blood clot, which was like almost the size of a quarter. And they brought it down, but in the midst of it, man, I was there by myself. Every procedure I've had done in my whole entire life, I've always been by myself. So they removed the blood clot. In the midst of them removing the blood clot, they needed emergency contact. So they was asking me while pulling the blood clot out of my brain, what was my mom's phone number? So I gave them the phone number so they could reach out to her. They just was like, they were surprised that I was even able to give them my mom's information to call her while they were getting the blood clot out of my brain.
Mm-hmm.
I stayed, and so when you have a stroke, you really lose track of time. You really don't really have a sense of
Hold on.
time.
You had a stroke? You lose track of time when you have a stroke?
I did.
I'm playing with
I
you. We all know.
did.
I'm playing with you, girl. I'm playing with you.
I did.
I'm with you on that. But I want to know something because most of us know these type of stories. We've
Hmm.
been through that story before.
Right.
I want to know what happened after this happened and how you got to where you are today. Because it seemed like you're well put together. I like your door knocker earrings and all that, and your hair as well.
I'm trying.
On that is all right. So now, how did you get to where you are today? That you're smiling, that you're on Instagram Live, and that you
I was
actually
depressed.
continue.
I was depressed. This took some shit. This here took a bit much because I had been working since I was 12. I had been working
Right.
since I was 12. So
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
have to depend on people now to this day still, because like Kyle said, I had my stroke on the opposite side of him. So I'm affected on my left side. Um I still actually battle with depression for real to this day. It's
So
just I
yeah,
just hate depending on people.
you're pretty new with this, and I get what you're coming from. But there's something that you said that a lot of people that's outside of the stroke community don't really realize that it's happening to us as stroke survivors. You said, and I quote, I've been to all my procedures and operations all by myself. I do things
Right.
by myself. Now you have this stroke,
You
and I
gotta
don't know
depend
what
on
your
somebody.
condition is now, but somewhere or another, you need somebody to help you to do certain things.
Right.
And that is very hard for us to adapt to. How did you adapt to that, or are you still adapting?
I'm still adapting, honestly, because I mean, I get frustrated having to depend on anybody for anything. I mean, it's really, really frustrating. And it's just like people, they expect so much. They still expect, like Cal said, the old you is dead. They still expect stuff that the old you would do. Everything now, I had to learn. Somebody told me, and I can't remember exactly who it was. Take my time. Take my time. Do things on my time. Never try to keep up with nobody else because this is my pace. This is me. This is my reality now. Like I have to do things that work for me, not to work
So
for everybody else.
hold on, Shadana, because I know the path that you're going to, and it's very frustrating. Herbie, thank you for that. I will talk to you later on about that vascular surgeon thing. Absolutely. But Shadana, was one thing that I had to really recognize that I had to go through is that,
Mhm.
and I think Kyle talked about it just a little bit earlier. You have to really get rid of those people that don't really understand anything about this life,
Or try not to understand.
or try not to. You really have to, and it sounds cruel, but you really got to block them out because if
Yes.
you don't, you're gonna really go in a dark place. You have to find people. That's why and I don't mean to do it, but I have to. I searched out people. I literally searched out people on Instagram when I got on Instagram. The first person I really connected with is this lady called Trazana Staples. I knew she was God sent. Her energy was great. I felt like she was my big sister and I was like her little
Hmm.
brother. And we could just talk back and forth with each other about our lives. And it wasn't about, you have this and you have that, so you're worse off than me. It's
Right.
about we understand each other.
Each
And once
other.
you
Yep.
get to that place with people in that community, then you great. That's why I created this right here, this actual show right here. Because I wanted to have everybody that is a stroke survivor to commune with each other. I created my show for about a year now, and I have so many new friends from the people
Thank
I
you.
interviewed. You're welcome, sister.
Because I mean, that's what I'm trying to do
Well,
now. Far as peer mentoring, far as strokes about like shelter and arms day, I had to stay there for 2 months. I lived at shelter and arms for 2 months. They had to teach me how to walk again, how to get dressed again, how to basically do everything all over again. That's a bit much to learn when you're a grown ass person. That's what a lot
facts,
of people don't understand. Like,
facts,
I'm learning baby shit at the age of, I'm grown. I'm grown as fuck.
facts,
And I gotta learn everything all over again and depend on
facts.
other people. And I just never depend on anybody else. Ever. Ever, ever. Depended on anybody else. Because I was the only child for 13 years. So it always been me doing for me. I come from two parents who were both drug addicts. So dealing with that my whole entire life, that was just something else in itself.
And the sad thing about it, Shadana, everything that happens to us in life, it doesn't stop when we have our stroke. And
Right.
somewhere or another, we have to figure out. And it's really wild because people look at us and say, "Well, you look good, so you should be
Yeah.
able to figure this
I
out."
get that
But
often.
they don't realize that we are struggling just to get out of bed, and they don't understand that. So I don't know if you have or not, but I talk to a couple of my people and I say, "Hey, I have a tribe. At any given moment, Shadana, any given moment, I could pick up the phone and talk to another stroke survivor and we can converse for hours on end, any given moment. And I feel
Hmm.
refreshed. That's my tribe. You need to
Them the
find a
people I
tribe.
need. Yeah, the people I need. That's
All
why I
right.
said I wanted to start doing this stroke survivor thing at Shelter in Arms Institute. So I'm ready to get linked in with some other stroke survivors, and I'll be one of the mentors soon. So hopefully I'll find my people.
You can find them, but just allow them to come in and be open to things. There are so many
Right.
different communities out there. I know this lady on here right now.
Mm-hmm.
Her name is Betty. She works with Heal the Brain. There's a big community online on Instagram, on Facebook. There's so many different stroke survivor communities that's out there that is willing and able to help you. If you don't mind, I'll have Betty connect with you, and she could actually
Please
put you in the
do.
right. Betty, get on it,
Please
Betty.
do.
She's on there. So,
Please
Shadana, I
do.
thank you for coming on, and
Thank you
hopefully
for
this
having
helps you
me.
out. No
Yes,
doubt,
it
sister.
did.
Come on, man. Right now,
Thank you.
you're not Shadana no more. You Greg's
I'm
little
not.
sister. All right, you're
I'm
Greg's
not.
little sister now. All
Thank
right,
you, Greg.
all right, baby.
All
I love
right.
you. Have a
God
great day.
bless. Love you too.
God
All
bless.
right. Bye-bye.
So that's what I'm talking about. This is our community. This is our family. You know, we need to really reach out to each other. This is the reason why I'm doing this. 'Cause like I'm telling you, when I first had my stroke for the whole entire year, I was lost. I was lost. I lost my health insurance. I lost my ability to work. I didn't feel adequate as a man. I couldn't walk up the stairs. If my wife or my children needed me to do something, they had to do it for me. I'm a 40-something-year-old man. Now I have to have my little children, one that was 12, one that was 11, and my ex-wife that didn't work for the last 10 years take care of me, to make decisions for me. Are you serious? So this is the stuff that's going through my mind. And it's not one time that anybody recommended a psychiatrist for me. I had to figure this out all on my own. So that's why I had to find these people. So I'm telling you, for the people that just had their stroke during this pandemic and everything's been shut down, the best thing that you need to do is, one, get rid of those negative people. I don't care who it is, get rid of them. I'm not saying this, cut your mother or father off. I'm just saying that shouldn't be your last line of defense or your first line of defense. You should find some other people that's going to actually help you out with this. And the worst thing you can say as a non-survivor is, well, at least you didn't die. At least you look great. Come on, man. What are you complaining? What's wrong with you? Don't say that, because you don't know what's going through our minds right now. We are struggling each and every day. We see you, like Kyle said, he was watching kids play basketball. He had to come up with Kyle's style. Just imagine. I just want you to just imagine, just real quick, everybody. Once again, another exercise. Close your eyes. Just imagine you cannot climb up the stairs anymore. How would you feel? Just imagine you can't brush your teeth anymore. Just imagine you're a grown man and somebody has to wipe your butt. Is that a great feeling? Well, these are what actually a lot of us stroke survivors had to go through. We had to rely on other people to take care of us when we've been working all of our lives, got our high degrees, and accomplished so much in corporations, and all of a sudden, in a blink of an eye, everything gets taken away from us. How do you expect someone to function like that? And then you're going to tell them, well, at least you're alive? Come on now, man. Really have more compassion. I have another person that wants to come on. Let's see who. Yes, you just asked a question, but I want you to come on, Trazana. Bring yourself on here, girl. Stop playing around. Your birthday was the other day. Let's celebrate your birthday with you, girl. Come on right now, Trazana Staples. I'm telling you, this is the sister that I give a lot of my credit to, because without this sister here, you wouldn't see me talking right now. I did my first interview with her. She helped me out, and I helped her out back and forth. Our lives has been so intertwined nowadays that it's almost impossible for me to do anything without her, or she does anything without me. Trazana, get yourself on here. Or if you don't want to get on here, somebody else please come on here with me. Betty, you could come on if you want to. Luna, if you're there. Michelle, if you're there. Uh, Anybody that's on there. Lola. Well, Lola, I don't want you on here. Bull, I don't want you on here either, because you're pretty new to this stuff. I want you guys to actually hear what other people have to say. But if you guys not gonna come on, that's fine. Let me read another excerpt from my dark times, and I highly recommend that each and every one of you get a journal, because this is amazing. That I'm looking back at this now, and the stuff that was bothering me before that I thought I could never get over, I didn't even remember I had those issues. So it's a good thing for having you to go back and to reminisce on what actually happened to you. So like I said, when other people come on, like we had Shadana just coming on, and she was telling us all this information that happened to her, and she's trying to get through it, I can go back in this and I can actually give this information on to her. Well, someone is coming on right now. Let's see who I got. I got Lola. I told you I didn't want you on, Lola, yet, because you are still a rookie in this, but hey, I'll take it. I like you. You're a good guy. Good lady, I should say. I can't bring myself from the same reason. I'll bring you on in a second. Lola. Now,
I
hold
know
on,
you said I
everybody.
can't come, but I'm coming anyway.
Yeah, you're coming in anyhow. Well, let me tell you guys something about this little lady right here. I actually met Lola. I like to meet all my friends of stroke survivor community. I went to her house. I met her and her husband, and we had some not Jamaican, but Haitian
Not
patties. It was
Jamaican, not Jamaican.
delicious. Not Jamaican, it was delicious. And we had some tea, and we sat on a porch, and we had a good time. But Lola, I want to know, because when I first met you, you're a pretty interesting person, because I saw where you came from with your videos and to where you are today. And I got to commend you that you are a breath of fresh air, because you're trying to build yourself up and also build out the community. And you do the same thing that I do. You try to help out people that's less fortunate, as you can been giving out foods and clothes to the people in the community from all the different drives that you have. So let me ask you, is that some of the things that help you to get past what actually happened to you to get to the new Lola that's happening today?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It was actually the recommendation of my therapist. So two things, getting back to that kind of work and being part of a community that I feel like I contribute to. My OT, well, actually my speech therapist was like, that's the way to do it. Find a higher purpose than yourself. And honestly, when I was still getting therapy at home, because I also had a cranioplasty and I couldn't go outside because, the helmet and whatever. So I was inside all the time, and I was just waiting for therapists to come by like 45 minutes at a time, maybe 2 days a week. That was not I don't know, that was not going to be a sustainable way for me to pass my time. So
Right.
when one of the therapists came by, she said, if you feel up to it, why don't you ask your boss if you can go back 2 hours a week? So she said yes, and it was like 30 minutes of work a day. I was destroyed. I needed naps. But that gave me a reason to at least brush my teeth, wash my face every day, because I knew I was going to maybe get on a Zoom call or something like that. Otherwise, there was no reason to really move. Nobody was coming here. We were deep in COVID. I mean, we're back there, but back then, nobody was coming to visit. We didn't have the community around. I'd moved to a new place because of the stroke. I used to live in a third floor walk-up, so I didn't know anybody around here. So having something to do that was more than myself was so helpful. And eventually I got to 2 hours a day, and then eventually 20 hours a week. And that was slow building. It just kind of
Well,
gives.
Lola, hold on before you go any further. I love your plants, but I want to see you. I go to see your
Oh,
plants right now. Move that camera down, girl. There you go. Now, but before you go any further, Lola, and I want you to really touch on this. I came to your house. My mother and I came to your house, and we met you and your husband. But I don't know about you, but I didn't really care about your husband or my mom. I was just talking with you, and I just felt like you and I was in our own little world. Now, it felt refreshing to meet somebody that almost went through the same thing as me and that understand each and every details of how I get up every morning and all the struggles I have to go to and I have to explain it. How was that for you? Was that refreshing for you as well?
Amazing. And since then, I've really taken that as like a, not a challenge, but an invitation to reach out to other people, or mostly people reach out to me. And like I put in the chats, I spent this afternoon a whole hour talking to a woman in Minnesota, and I invited her to this chat, and I don't see her here, but she might be busy. But we just talked for an hour. We've never met. I'd never really, I mean, we've chatted on Instagram and stuff, and we just laughed. We talked about how hard it is. We talked about faith, and we talked about physical therapists not being prepared, you know, just the regular stuff. It was just so beautiful to connect with the sister that I've
Yes,
no other
yes.
opportunity to connect with outside of the internet. And it was just, we didn't have to explain to each other why we're tired. We didn't have to explain why we need rides places. When I said I
Yes.
struggle, because she's in a very cold place as well. I know you don't get it. I mean, you moved
No,
outside.
no, I don't get it at
Yeah.
all. It's warm out here.
But like even the
Beautiful.
struggle of like putting a long sleeve shirt on when your arm doesn't work properly. Like her family doesn't get it. My family doesn't get it. They're like, "Oh, you're doing so good." And we're like, "Doing good, and we can't put a long sleeve on and zip a zipper by ourselves." And as you said, as a grown ass woman, or as Shadana said, that is not a good feeling, and nobody wants to be trapped in that, you know. But she got it. The point is, it was nice to chat.
And it's amazing because it's also therapeutic for the people that's taken care of. Because I know your husband takes care of you. My mom at one point was taking care of me, but my mom wanted to ask you. She told me, Greg, I wanted to ask Lola so many questions, but you guys it seemed like you guys was just some different world. And I didn't even want to disturb that. And they understood how much we, not necessarily just you, but both of us needed
Yeah.
to commune with each other to actually to breathe and just to talk and just to say, you get me. And I don't have to explain it. I don't have to tell you my arm hurts or I don't have to tell you that I can't do this. I'm tired. You get it. Like, I remember there was a time that you came outside and I'm like, oh, I remember where you was. So let me grab Lola up so I can see I could walk her outside.
Mm-hmm.
And, everything was just all cool and peaceful. And you didn't have to say, Gregory, you have to go pick me up. Or, Gregory, you got to do this. I was in tune. And the same thing for you. You do the same thing for me.
By the way, I love your mom, and she can chat with me whenever she wants. Give her my number, actually. Don't block us.
I'm glad you said that because you know what she told me? She said, Gregory, Lola called me her auntie. So I have a new niece now. I was like, okay, I want to call Lola anytime I want. I'm like, hey, I'll set it up. But you said it.
Yeah.
You be warned. She will call you.
Yeah.
She will call.
Do it. Don't block our.
But Lola. I don't know how to express this to you because you're very, very. I don't know if you really understand this about yourself.
1 second, I'm
When
just
I
so hot. I'm
see,
gonna take this hat off quick. It was cold in here earlier, but
woo,
yeah, twins.
but seriously, Lola, when I see you, you do something for me. And I don't know how to explain it, but your energy, your grit, your ways to move forward is very, very inspirational. And I love you so much, sister. I'm so glad that I have met you. And what you are doing is great. It's amazing. Don't stop, sister. Don't stop. I'm always behind you.
Can't stop,
All
won't
the way.
stop. Just gonna keep
I
going.
know it. I know you. I see you. You are a bulldog ready to bite and pounce on people and ready to get it done. I love it, sister. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you for having me.
anytime that you're in Atlanta, you guys can come in. You don't have to bring Joey, but he could come. He could come.
He's
but
gonna be the driver, so he kind of has to.
Tell him I say hello and tell him Yankees are the best thing in the world.
I will not do it. I will not. You all have that
Bye,
conversation.
sister.
Take care. Peace and love.
Bye. Oh. But that's, do you see that, guys? Do you see just the natural connection that you get when you deal with another stroke survivor that's really in tune with their life trying to move forward. You see how positive that conversation was? We didn't speak about any of the negative things that's going on in our life. We're thinking about the positive thing, where we want to be, what she's doing. Like, I think everybody has actually came on and said this is how they move on with their life. They found their passion in their new life to move forward. All right, I got a couple more people on here that want to get on, and I have Stroke Man, I have Trazana Staple. I'm getting Trazana because that is the person I said to come on first, and she's been waiting. First of all, when she comes on, say happy birthday. Everybody just put a birthday cake up there for my sister, Trazana. She just turned 25. Hey, baby girl, how you doing?
I'm okay, brother. How you doing?
I'm great. You know what? And I was not lying about this. And, you know, it's crazy, Trazana, because it was about a year and a half ago, you and I met each other, and we just talked, and ever since then, we connected. I gravitated to you, not because you was a stroke survivor, because of your energy, and you were so genuine. I was fiending for that. I was fiending for someone out there that could actually be genuine and not BS me.
Yeah.
And you're one of the people that helped me move forward to doing the things that I do today. So every time I get on here and I do these interviews, I want you guys to also appreciate the person that's helped me to get forward. And is this lady that's in front of you right now? Hey, sister, what's going on?
From you too. I think somebody sent a video to me, and
Yeah.
I said I need to connect with him, and
Yeah.
that's how it all started.
Yeah.
And we have to support and take care of each other, because
We all we got.
it's like we're aliens on
Yes.
this planet now. We have superpowers that most don't understand, and I had so many things I could say from everybody else who's talked, but the one thing I will say, after you have a stroke, you have to go inside, because I was in that very dark place too, and I think that's normal, because you don't know what to do. I didn't know what to do. Medical doctors only know what they have read in books. They have never had a stroke. And most don't even talk about it. The old school people don't even talk about the traumas and trials from getting better. We had to learn, and the thing that made me stronger. I lost when I had my stroke. I was an executive director of a nonprofit organization. I had a condo. I had a brand new SUV. My stroke happened after I buried my dad. Came home, was not feeling good. My mother urged me to go have my blood pressure checked. Although I didn't have any blood pressure problems, she sent my son over to get me because she knew I wasn't going to go anywhere. He came and got me, who went to the emergency room, because I was just very fatigued. I didn't have any other drooping of the mouth or anything like that. I was just tired. They admitted me into the hospital. 3 days later, I had a stroke in the hospital. They had to send me to another hospital, UC Medical Center, because they didn't know. And till this day, they don't know what caused my stroke.
No, okay. You say UC. Where are we talking about? RB, where we at? Okay, Cincinnati, Ohio. Okay.
Yeah. To this day, they don't know what caused my stroke. I was 50 years old when it happened. I turned 55 2 days ago.
Happy birthday, sis.
Thank you. And unfortunately, the Western medicine professionals, they say stuff like, they told my family that I would never have a perfect way of life. I wouldn't be able to go back to where I was. I probably wouldn't be able to talk. I do have aphasia. I probably won't be able to walk. I probably will never ever be able to live by myself again.
Okay, great. Let's stop right there because you're hitting something that I really want you to drill home on this. You started off and you said, you know, a lot of these doctors don't really know what the heck they're talking about when it comes to actually recovering from a stroke. You know, a lot of these medical professionals know how to treat the symptom, but they don't know how to treat the person. So I'm asking you, for the people that's out here that's listening to you, they hear that you wasn't able to walk, you had a very strong aphasia and things of that nature. What was within you that helped you get over those hurdles to stop listening to those medical advice and say, hey, I'm going to do this. I'm going to be a phoenix rising. Speak on it, sis.
Because I was so low. I lost all the material things. I lost everything, financially, mentally, physically. There was no other way for me to go but up. If I was going to still live on this earth. And I know when I had my stroke, I was asleep. My stroke happened when I was asleep. And I had just buried my dad, but I thought I was dreaming, that I had a conversation with loved ones who were here that I knew that were dead. And my father told me, it's not time for you to be here. You have to go back. And I guess when I woke up or when I came to, that's when I realized that nobody could understand what I was saying. I had no idea. But I had to go in. It was a long, hard, it's like I'm a gardener. It's like gardening. When you first plant the seeds require water and sunlight. And then before you know it, you have a plant that pops up. So in my darkness, in my soil, that's when I got life. So the life happens in the darkness in order for you to rise, to become what the Creator wants you to do.
Okay, hold on, sis. You're giving me a lot, but y'all stroke survivors give me a lot of information that it's hard for me to cover it all at one time. But I want to drill this point home because this is pretty interesting. You said something and you brought this metaphor in and you brought it in real nicely. And I love it that you lost everything, so you had no other way to go but up. And then you bring up this this metaphor of gardening and then light and raising it and growing up that seed to bring up this beautiful plant, this phoenix rising that you speak on each and every day that you have on with your posts. I get it, and this is the same thing that we need to do. We need to stop playing around with our life. There's a saying that I have with that I'm gonna start promoting soon too. You know, our lives change in the blink of an eye. Anybody's life can change in the blink of an eye. So why are you wasting your blinks?
There you go.
So let's move forward. You know, it's very easy for us to just sit here and just die off. But there's something within us that we say, you know what? I want to move forward. I see you each and every day coming out with your videos. Each week you send me a post and say, Greg, check out my stuff on Instagram and on YouTube. I'm like, okay, let's see what you got, sis. And you're motivating other people to actually move forward. I see other people out there, a healing place. I see her working out each and every day, showing out how she's actually moving forward. I see it. And it's what you do. This is what you bring to the community. Yes. You don't have to be me. I don't have to be you. Be yourself. Be what makes you get up each and every day and do it to the best of your ability. Sister, I love you so much. But if you got one more thing, bring it on because I want to bring other people on too. Go ahead.
Hey, thank you. And I'll talk to you later. Peace, love, and light.
I love you, sis. Thank you so much for coming on. All right. So, like I said, You see my motivation. That's my lady friend right there. That's my friend right there. So I had somebody that wanted to come on, and I'm gonna bring her on right now. This is Stroke Mom, Michelle. I wanted to tell you something about Michelle. This lady is a very interesting lady. I love her a lot too. She's one of the people that helped me get to where I am today. She's a kooky, funny lady, and I love her so much because of her sense of humor and what she has gone through within her stroke life. She has transformed it into a positive thing. Each and every week, she comes out with this thing called PIF, Pay It Forward Mondays, where she gives recognition to other stroke survivors. She's using her gift of writing, her talent of writing, to get the word out about other stroke survivors. So, Michelle, how you doing, sis?
Good, how are you?
I am well. You was telling me a little bit before we got on live that your first year of your stroke, you didn't even realize you had a stroke. So
No.
what happened when you actually had the aha moment that you had a stroke, and what got you away from being so depressed and say, you know, I don't want to do anything into who you are today when you're doing these PIF things and all the stuff you do with your son?
It was a year into it that I realized what happened. Like, it took a full year. I thought it was at summer camp the whole time I was at the hospital. I thought it was at camp, which I don't know why, and why would I be in a wheelchair, and why would everybody else be in wheelchairs, but that's what I thought.
Okay.
So
Are you talking
it
about
took,
like summer camp, like a child summer camp?
yeah,
Okay.
seriously, because it was so much fun. I know that sounds weird, but my
No,
therapists
I get
were
it.
fun,
I
and
get
so
it.
I didn't think anything was weird.
But
But
once
it,
once but once you realize that delusion, because honestly, I don't find it weird, because when I was in the hospital, I was so delusional that I thought everybody was dead because the Colombians came there and shot everybody up. Because I just finished watching, before I had my stroke, I was watching this series called Narcos. And that's when it was talking about Pablo Escobar, and everybody was just killing people over the drug cartel things. So I thought everybody in the hospital was dead. So I get
wow.
it. If you thought you was in camp, I get what you're saying. But once that all died down, what kept you sane?
Well, honestly, my kid, like, I didn't have a choice. He didn't care if I had a stroke. He would run into me like at 500 miles an hour, and I had no balance. He didn't care. And so I had no choice. I kind of had to force myself to keep going for his sake.
You know, Michelle, that's pretty interesting, because I used to say that in my videos too. That when I wanted to get happy, I would look at my grandniece. She was a toddler. She was born right around the time I had my stroke. But whenever I was depressed and nobody could actually get me out of that funk, she would just burst in my room, banging, "Uncle Gregory!" I'm like, oh gosh. And
Yeah.
that energy, that love was there. I was like, I love it. So I get what you're saying. That really helped me out too. So your son got you over the hump. Is that what you're saying to
Yeah.
me?
It's good motivation. Like, I was too busy with him to realize I was kind of effed. So it kept me going by, like, by force. I have a facial. That's not the word I want. Not force, but, you know,
Yeah,
automatic.
I get it. So Michelle, what made you, not just dealing with your son, but what made you bring up PIF? What did that do for you?
Oh, that's totally selfish, because I was a graphic designer before the stroke, and like, I forgot completely how to use my programs. So it's 100% reason for me to relearn the programs. Like,
You, you, you know what? You know what? You know what? I'm glad you said it was selfish, because honestly, the stuff that I'm doing right now is completely selfish too. I'm doing this because I want to feel adequate. I want to be able to say that when my daughters look at me when 5 or 6 years now, they're like, Dad, what did you do? I'm like, I helped out my community. I was a vital part of my community, my stroke survivors community. And I know it's benefiting people, don't get me wrong, but this is also my therapy as well, because I live by myself. And me doing this right now, this is the best thing that happened to me right now. Instead of me watching TV or going to sleep, I'm talking to my friends. I'm talking to my brothers and sisters. This is a beautiful thing. So I get it.
And like the first 3 years, I couldn't even look at a computer. Like it was too overwhelming. So that in itself was a hurdle to get on the computer. So it's totally like an excuse to use my programs again.
How do you feel now?
Well, I'm happy to be doing that again. But there's things that bug me. Like I used to type 90 words a minute. Now it's like 9 words a minute. So it takes forever. But it's still fun.
But you know, Michelle, I'm really thinking about this, and I said this earlier. You know, I don't look at the things that I used to do anymore. Like you said, the 90 words per minute. I used to be able to, you know, jumping down, pick up my daughters, and walk across the world with them. I can't do that anymore. You know, I know you probably do miss it, but does that really depresses you, or is this new life that you have with, you know, with your son, with PIF, with all those things that you do, is that really moving you forward? And is that satisfying enough? And does it make you want to do more?
It doesn't really depress me. It annoys me. Like I get annoyed. Like, because I know I used to be able to do that. It's just like a type A thing more than anything.
But you know what, Michelle, and I, you see, all these people that I meet on here are like my superheroes for real. Because when I first met you, you didn't want to do an interview at all, and now you do
I
interviews
hate
all.
talking. I hate talking.
But look at you now. You're doing all this talking now, and I'm not crediting it to myself. I'm crediting to you and your fortitude of actually moving forward. And that's what we do as our community. We help each other move forward to get to their goals. So now, look at you. You're not camera shy no more. You're in front of the camera now. Even though you're a Packers fan, you're still in front of even though they're number one in the company. But, you know, this is what we do for each other. By you saying, you know, I was not able to go on the TV or speak on the phone or things like that, and you're doing that now. Do you know what that did for me? It made me say, you know what, Greg, there's a reason why you're doing this. There's people out there that want to do things, that want to move forward, and you have a gift to help people to do that. So that gratification that you have, I'm getting that gratification too. So I know that I'm not wasting my time. It's not in vain. It's a beautiful thing. That's what we have to help each other.
Yes, I like that. That's perfect. It makes sense. It is the same.
It is the same, sis. That's why I love you guys so much. And tell John I said hello, and tell Walter I said hello too, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Love you, sis. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye. All right. So I know I had somebody else that was on here. I'm going to see if I could get her on now if she's still around. Yeah, she's still there. This is my friend right here. This is my friend Betty. Betty's a pretty interesting lady because I did an interview with her. Look at big hair, don't care. Hey, Betty, how you doing, sister? Love the hair. But I want to talk about you. See, this is crazy because I know that if I didn't do all these interviews, I wouldn't met all these great people from all over the country, all over the world. And this is another great person that I have met. I have done, 2 interviews with you before? Actually, you did one of my shows. You did Deaf Taught Us How to Live, and you did Connecting the Dots. You hosted the pilot of the show. And I just liked your energy so much. Is that it's amazing because as soon as Betty gets into her professional mode, hey, my name is Betty Howard. How you doing today? And this is what we're gonna talk about. Da, 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 da. And she just goes right into it. I think she broke up for a little bit. But Betty is so passionate about this community and helping us become one and being whole again. She does so many great things in the community. She works with Heal the Brain, and I'm so blessed that I have found her, and she has hooked me up with other people that I have never even thought about before. And she just amazing. I want to say a tool, but she's a very good conduit for what we need in our community. So, Betty, what did you do to get over that hump that you had when you first had your stroke?
I want to share a couple things. So,
Okay, go ahead.
I am part of Heal the Brain, which is a tool for our community. But I am Betty, who is a stroke survivor. So, if anyone is not interested in that tool, I don't want you to look at me and go, oh, I don't want that tool, so I'm not going to talk to Betty. No, Betty's a stroke survivor who's here to have conversations with other stroke survivors. So that's one. Two, I was thinking about this morning. When I was in the hospital, when I was in the hospital, they said I was going to die. They told my family to get funeral plans ready, right? But nobody told me that I was going to die. Ooh-wee. Then they
Hold on, Betty. I think your internet's chopping up.
Die,
Betty.
They told my family
your
that it
internet's
was
chopping
going
up.
to take years.
Betty, your internet's chopping up. Is there any way you can fix it?
Oh no. Yes. Let me.
Yeah, you sound better now. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Ah, she left. But Betty's gonna come back. See, didn't I tell you that Betty she's so proper with things? She corrected me. She said, I am Betty Howard. Don't but that's the thing about us, man. We are very passionate about what we do, and we also are very passionate about people coming to us. We don't want you to feel embarrassed or neglected. You know, I'm telling you this, everybody that's on this call right now, everybody that's on this call, I could guarantee you, you could pick anybody out of this list and hit them up in a direct message and they will talk to you for hours on end. That's how this community is. That's how we are. Like right now, we've been on an hour and a half and there's still people trying to come on. It's because we have a love for each other. We have a connection with each other that we bound with each other that nobody else could actually ever come in between. Betty, you're back. You're back, Betty. How you doing? I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh, sorry.
No, you good, sis.
I think I heard some of what you were saying. Okay, so they told my family I was gonna die, but nobody told me I was gonna die. Yeah. Then they told my family that it was gonna take years for me to get better. But nobody told me it was going to take years. So now let's fast forward me going home. I'm literally thinking every day when I wake.
You're breaking up again, Betty. You're breaking up again. I'm thinking and saying that everybody else knew your plight, but you didn't understand your plight.
This has been.
You're breaking up again, Betty. You're breaking up.
And I'm getting there.
Betty.
So.
Betty, you're breaking up. Betty, you're breaking up. You're better now. Betty's gonna come back. Let's give Betty a second and we'll bring Betty back on. But you know, Betty's story is very similar to most of ours. You know, and I want to, don't worry about it, Betty. If you could get there, be connected a little bit better, we could bring it back on. Now, I want to flip this on to a different switch a little bit. I hear this a lot, but a lot of times nobody really discusses or deal with this. As a stroke survivor, I bring it up a lot. As a stroke survivor, going out and starting to date. I was told, Greg, won't you find another stroke survivor to date? I'm like, whoa, that might be the hardest thing to do, because we have our issues, and it's going to be hard for me to take care of you and you take care of me when we both have these problems. And just because we're stroke survivors doesn't mean we're compatible. And automatically people think we're compatible just because we have this brain injury. Not necessarily true. So I want to, if you guys don't mind, I want, some information from you guys to see how you guys deal with this information. For me, I'm going to give you an example. Somebody told me, because I was going through a divorce, separated, whatever, and I was trying to date, and somebody said, hey, won't you try somebody that had a stroke? So I found somebody that had AVM rupture, almost the same place as me, but she was much younger. And it just didn't work. I'm like, just because we are stroke survivors, we have this same thing. It's good for us to communicate as brothers and sisters, but to move past that, that was hard, extremely hard. So I want to know, and Betty's back. See, Betty don't like talking like this. Well, we're going to make Betty talk like this. So let's see what Betty has to say about this information here, because I found it very difficult. I can't date, and I don't want to be stereotypical now, but I can't date normies anymore, people that didn't have near-death experience, because they don't understand it. So, Betty.
Yes.
I'm asking you, how do you deal with that? It's very difficult, because I know I heard your story before. You said you was married, you got divorced, so on and so on, and you're trying to go back into, the dating life to be quote unquote normal. How is that for you as a stroke survivor? Do you go on your dating sites and just automatically put up, hey, I had a stroke, do you want to play? Because I do it automatically on those dating sites. But if I don't do it, and I get to really communicate with a person, and all of a sudden they just drop off on me, it's bad. What is it for you?
So, okay. So I think I wanted to date a little too early in my journey, because I dated in 2019 and 20. 2021, I cut it off. I didn't date anybody, but I got so much clarity on where I want to go and how I want to go forward. So back in 2019 or 2019, I did go on a dating site. I did not put I was a stroke survivor. However, I knew that it was something I would have to say early on. But I was only going to say it to somebody who was invested in getting to know me. I did not feel like I needed to say it to every man that looked at my profile. So that was my way. Now, if someone and we start talking, then I let them know right away. And it was always the response of, that's okay, no big deal type of response. But they never had questions. And to me, that was concerning, because if you're going to be with someone who's had a stroke or a near life death, oh my gosh, I can't even say it. A near
death experience,
yes. You kind of need to know about it, because it has effects on you. Just like yesterday, I'm driving my daughter to her braces appointment, and I'm like, she asked me a question, and I just start crying, and she's like, why are you crying? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm so emotional, and I've been emotional like yesterday and today. I'm super emotional. I'm super fatigued. So those are things that if you're going to date somebody who's had a stroke, you need to be able to navigate these things with them and be okay with it, because we can't tell you when we're going to be too tired to do things. We can't schedule it, right? We don't, fatigue hits. When it hits hard. And like, for example, because of Christmas and all of that, I had a good day. I like cooked for like 5 hours. I was impressed with myself. But after that week, I was done, and I was down for like the last 5 or 6 days. So that's a long answer. Sorry.
No, Betty. I like that because you're hitting on a couple of things. And I'm gonna get back to dating. Probably somebody else who will answer it for me too. But you brought up something that's pretty interesting about our lives, and people don't realize that those invisible disabilities. How do you cope with them? How do you deal with them? How do you talk to other people about them? Because like you said, you know, the holiday season came about and you cooked for 5 days and then boom, you was not good after those 5 hours after cooking, whatever.
Yeah.
But for me, I lose track of days. I could talk to you the day before Christmas and then all of a sudden it's January 2nd. I'm like, dang, I wasted all that time. I don't know what I did. I didn't get out of bed or anything. And I was perfectly fine with that. And I can't explain that to other people because people think that I'm lazy. Like, I'm not lazy. I can't move. I'm just done. My body won't move. I am done. So I'm glad you said that in 2021 you didn't date, because that was the same thing that I had. I couldn't date. I couldn't explain that to people that, you know, okay, Greg, let's go out and do this. I'm like, I don't want to. I really don't. Can I come over? No, I don't want you to be over here. Get out of my space. I want peace and quiet. That's all I want. And unfortunately, and I don't know, I don't want to bring up negative connotations to this, but whenever I start dating, I got to bring on your energy. And your energy could be off from mine, and I have to focus on yours, and I can't focus on me. Then everything my medication gets messed up, my weight gets messed up, everything gets messed up. So I don't try to do it. I don't know the answer to have that balance, that equilibrium. So what I like to do, honestly, like I said before, I talk to you guys. I talk to, like, Betty, you're a pretty woman. I have a lot of pretty women on my timeline that I talk to. It's not anything about sexual things like that. It's about straight love of my brother or my sisters, and we get together and talk about things about how we can move forward in our lives. And that's satisfying for me. That's enough for me.
Yeah.
Because you understand that, hey, I can talk to you today, but I might not talk to you for 10 days. But, you know, when I get back to talking to you, we're fine. And I think that's the camaraderie that we have that nobody else understands. That's why I don't go out for the dating things. And I guess that's what you're saying to me as well.
Yeah. And I feel like it has to be that right match, because like Phil said, he found his right match. Somebody who didn't look at him and see a disability.
Yes.
For me, I know when that happens for me, I can't be with someone who's insecure about how I look because I limp, because I have a cane, because I like to go around with my little arm brace on so my hand isn't like this, you know. If that bothers you, that will never work, because it's taken me 3 years to get to where I am, to be comfortable in my body. You know, I'm on TikTok, which that's a whole nother thing. But I do these things, one, because when I first got on TikTok, I wouldn't show my arm. I would do videos, but I would sit like this. You'll never see this arm. Now I show it. And I've also connected, there was this young lady on there that said she has hemiplegia as well. And she did a dance because I did a dance. And because I showed my arm, she felt comfortable to show her arm. So we don't know how we touch people. And my point is, I can't be with someone who feels weird about how I look when I've worked so hard to be comfortable in my new body.
Betty, you said
Yeah.
that perfectly. This is exactly why I do what I do. It's not like I said, I don't do it for me. You don't know who is actually watching. And I get messages all the time. Thank you, Gregory, for sharing this particular story, talking to this particular person, because that's me, and it motivated me to move forward. And I was in a very dark place. So that's why I was saying, people, we are doing this not, yeah, we're doing it for ourselves, first of all, but we're doing this because it's needed. There is not a lot of people out there that is like us, that understands us. And once we put ourselves out there, we're not ashamed of who we are.
Right.
That person that is in that dark spot, that is ashamed because nobody's accepting them anymore. I know people that from, is your family from the Caribbean? Are you Spanish? Or are you from the
Italian and Black?
Italian?
Yeah.
Okay, Italian and Black. So people in the Caribbean, especially, they look down on people that have disabilities. So we have people that's in the Caribbean that be watching my shows as well. They be looking at me and it's like, Gregory, thank you for sharing this, because a lot of people look down on us and we have no rights whatsoever. Like you guys have parking for handicapped parking spaces. We don't have that in our country. We don't have wheelchairs, accessibilities. They don't have things for us. They look at us and they have nothing for us. So you talking to us gives me light, gives me strength. So I'm like, wow, I'm just doing this because I want to feel adequate, but somebody's putting it on me to put it out onto the world. And that's what I'm doing. So that's what you're doing, Betty. And that's what everybody else is doing. Keep on doing it. There's no competition. We're not doing this to fight each other. We're doing this to help our community.
Yes.
Betty, I thank you.
Thank you
so much. And I will talk to you again. And hopefully we do another interview.
Sounds good. Take care.
All right, Betty.
Bye.
Good night. All right, everyone. Like I said, this is a thing that I'm doing, not just for myself. As you can see, all the people that came on here today, not one of them are doing it for me or themselves. They're doing it because they have love for you. They want you to succeed. Each and every one, I guarantee you, if you DM anyone that came on this show tonight, they will talk to you in length, and show you compassion. If you're looking for something, they've said something to you that resonates with you, trust me, reach out to them and be healed. We all need healing. Each and every one of those people that I talked to tonight, I can talk to and they can help me heal. Each and every one of them. I have talked to each and every one of them. They have helped me out tremendously. There is nobody in here that is the number one person or the bottom person. We all here to survive. Your illness is not as weak as somebody else's or is not as irrelevant as somebody else's. Just because you can speak and somebody else can't, just because you have invisible disabilities and somebody is a paraplegic, we all are here together. So please reach out, connect, and build, and be productive. If you are depressed or if you have suicidal thoughts, trust me, there's people out there that can help you out with that. We are here to help you. We love you, and you are perfectly, like my friend said from oh, I can't remember right now. Wow, I can't remember his name. Oh, Will Carter. As Will Carter said, you are perfectly made as you are right now. God has made you and fashioned you into a position that you can actually accomplish anything that you want to. So don't let this stroke pull you down, make you depressed. Don't let the people around you destroy you. Live your life, everybody. I love you guys. Thank you for joining us. Once again, Deaf Taught Us How to Live will be starting up next week. I'll be interviewing Kayla. She had an AVM that did not rupture. I'll have her on here on Tuesday at 7 p.m. So please join us and tune in if you would like to get on our show, please direct message me at AVM_superhero. I will gladly like to listen to your story and actually have you on my live. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Have a great night, and thank you for joining us. And if you guys want this to happen again, direct message me the topics, and we can do this town hall meeting. I love this. I love you guys so much. This is therapeutic for me. I hope it was therapeutic for you. Have a good night, everyone. AVM Superhero out.